The Philippines has always been a bastion of Catholicism in Asia. Along with East Timor, it is one of only two nations in Asia having a substantial portion of the population professing the Catholic faith. Brought into the local shores by Spanish conquistadores, the Catholic Church has always played a vital role in the country's long and often tumultuous history. Hence, it comes as no surprise to find these places of worship on virtually every corner of the archipelago. A testament to the Catholic Church's ubiquity on local soil may be found up in the northwestern frontier of Luzon, the Cagayan Valley. Through the centuries, appreciation for these magnificent structures have varied. To some, they are romantic tourist attractions. To others, they are showcases of a leader's patronage. And to some others still, they are despised monuments of oppression. Heritage Churches of the Cagayan River Basin by Javier Galvan Guijo is a comprehensive architectural survey of the major heritage churches of the Spanish colonial era that were built due to the evangelization efforts along the Rio Grande de Cagayan, the longest and most capacious river system of the Philippines. Each survey encompasses the history of both church and its urban settlement, the description of its features, and the measurement and typification of its major architectonic elements, and finally, a critique of its aesthetics and conservation aspects. With pertinent historical studies accompanying the architectural survey of each church, the book is truly a comprehensive study of the region's cultural heritage.
I came in the Philippines for the first time in the early 90s. I didn't know very much about the Filipino heritage, no? Well, I knew about Intramuros and very few things. So I was really taken by this architecture that I didn't know. And those time I was wondering which topic to choose for my doctoral thesis. And I said to myself, well, this would be fantastic because it's a new topic for many people, especially in Spain, where we didn't know that much about that. So when I went back to Spain, I visited the chairman of the History of Art in the Faculty of Architecture, Dr. Pedro Navasquez, and he encouraged me. He was very surprised and very happy that I was taking to him these pictures of these churches. And so he encouraged me to continue, and he offered to be my thesis director, no? So that encouraged me. And then during the 90s, I came over and over again to the Philippines. I was involved in different heritage projects. And I had the opportunity to go around the country and to visit many provinces. I hope that this book will help many people in the Philippines to know about the heritage, about their own identity.
The first chapter of the book discusses the religious orders and their constructive works. It traces the history of the mendicant orders such as the Dominicans, Franciscans, and many others, and how their evangelizing missions paved the way for the establishment of small organizational structures called visitas in New Spain and eventually in the Philippines. The scope of action of the mendicant orders was greatly expanded after the so-called Age of Discovery, when they would be entrusted with the task of fulfilling the evangelical mandate of go and preach in the immense territories that were being incorporated into the Spanish crown, including the Philippines. Chapter 2 details Dominican church architecture in the Cagayan River Basin. It discusses at length the various characteristics of the structures in terms of their floor plans, facades, and bell towers, and delves into specifics such as dimensions, shapes, and even materials used. It also mentions how Philippine churches evolved their own identity, starting from European schema, passed through the experience of American conventual architecture, and with details of Asian influences in certain formal aspects.
So in the case of Cagayan, the main feature is that the material, they were made out of brick, because there were no stone like in Manila, or coral stone like in sea places. And then there is one church that really is out of any pattern, that is amazing church. I don't know how it's not yet in the World Heritage. That is Tumawini Church. Tumawini Church is a very special church. And it's maybe the only church that you can really identify as a pure Baroque church, because you have, normally we say Baroque churches in the Philippines because it's that period that in Europe is Baroque, but really they are not the features. Baroque, is a style where you have a sort of element that you don't find here. Tumawini, yes, we find the features like the walls, the movement of the walls, like the lighting, this dramatic mise en scène, no? The altar is the focal point, and you can see how the light is directing you to the altar. So, and as I mentioned, the plan also is important because they made a lot of pieces, ceramic pieces, to compose motif, and even they have numbers to set up, like in a mecano, no? So that is talking us about really skills, very important skills in making ceramic pieces, and then a mind that was able to devise all that. In many cases, the churches didn't follow, let's say, a previous plan as we know today. Always today there is an architect that make a layout, and then the builders construct according to that previous plan or layout. In many cases in the past it was not like that. They were building without really a real plan or real model, but following models of maybe a neighbor town, of what it was developing during the process. No? But in the case of Tumawini, that is very clear that was a plan, that was really a concept before starting to build. So that makes Tumawini a very unique church, not only in the valley, but in the whole Philippines.
Chapter 3 studies in great detail the various heritage churches of Cagayan Province in alphabetical order, starting from Alcala, Bugay, Enrile, Gataran, Enigig, all the way down to Tuguegarao. The text is accompanied by stunning photographs which give the readers a feel for the actual grandeur of the hallowed edifices. Chapter 4 highlights the beauty of the brick churches of Isabela. From Alicia, Kawayan, Gamu, San Pablo, Ilagan, and Tumawini, with the last one having been declared a national cultural treasure by the National Museum and was considered a UNESCO World Heritage tentative site. The final chapter tells a sad tale of how the same missionaries who erected the splendid structures of worship in the province of Nueva Vizcaya were guilty of having demolished the same to give way to new buildings, as was the case in the 1950s with the Church of Bagabag. Its ruins now only a lonely reminder of how man can, at times, be detrimental to heritage conservation.
Well, preserving heritage churches is preserving our history, our identity. Philippines is the only Catholic country in Asia. These churches are unique. You cannot find nothing like that in the world. So it's like endangered species, no? If they disappear, of course we are losing something, but the humanity is missing something. So I think it's a very good thing that you are bringing back this topic, and I hope that new awareness about the value, the great value of Filipino architecture, will be there for all the Filipinos to appreciate.
Heritage Churches of the Cagayan River Basin is a tribute to the church builders, the Dominican order, as well as the anonymous artists and builders who, together, worked on a hauntingly original and distinctive regional constructive art to forge a unique Cagayan style from the late 16th until the 19th century. But more importantly, the book is an impassioned effort to, in the words of Javier Galvan Guijo himself, break the silence, tell the story, before it becomes too late and there would be nothing else but the anger over what is lost. Heritage Churches of the Cagayan River Basin brings to the fore the timeless beauty, elegance, and sheer magnificence of some of the most wonderful works of architecture this side of the world. It accentuates humankind's basic need to build monuments to his undying faith.